Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Tree, and this is another Wilderness SMP video. Look at us go. This is the second episode now of the Wilderness SMP that we're playing on, and we're moving on to now building our shop. So in the previous episode, you would have saw me building the outpost, which is like my starter base, and now we're moving on to the actual shopping district. So within the server itself, every member of the server can go into the trader's terrace and pay for effectively a shop contract, let's call it. And what we can do is we can basically pick anything we want. It can be materials, it could be items, it could be services, whatever you want. So what we went for today is I actually chose a schematic service. Now it might sound weird, not many people probably have done this in the past, but the reason for it, obviously I'm taking a bit of a break from streaming and content creation as a whole, and I won't be around on the server too much as things are happening at home, let's just say. We're having another kid, so we're having to take a little bit of time away. So by having the schematic shop, that's going to allow people on the server to come around and request a build. Now those builds can be 16 by 16, 32 by 32, or 64 by 64. You can get bigger if you want to, and there'll be prices for each of those available within the shop. Now this way, this allows me to still hang out with members of the community, maybe do a couple work on my free time. It's in creative, I can build some schematics and share them with the community. And I thought it'd be a really nice way of still keeping in touch with people, still being able to do something with people actively, be active in the Discord, and just obviously be part of the SMP, because I can't, look after a shop all the time. So this is the design that we went for. Very similar to our previous design, very modular based, although this one is based upon a library. Now there is a little bit of lore to this one. Is obviously the Treetopolis, which is the city of the Elders. It's basically going to be where the main build in the city is going to be. But the lore for this one is the fact that there is obviously going to be a larger library, the Great Library of Treetopolis, in the major city, where this is a smaller outpost selling schematics, which have been handed down over the generations by previous builders, explorers, and adventurers through technology, through lessons learned, and through different building techniques. So that's the idea. I'm going to pass on all these techniques and methods and buildings and give them back to the community that they can use. There'll be no credit required. I don't have to post anything or anything like that about the builds, but just a nice way of being able to give back to everybody. So this build here is now also a continuation of the last build. We've kept the depth perception on the build. We're using very similar block palettes, but what you'll notice on this one is we're starting with the newer palettes as we're further into the game. White concrete powder for the base, working your way up into sort of a variance of like smooth quartz, and then onto bone blocks, and then mushroom stem for a lot of the shadow areas, just to make it look darker underneath certain parts. Then onto the diorite, and then eventually onto calcite further up as well. So there is more of an extensive block palette being used here, which is nice because it's something that I really wanted to have on my starter base, but we just didn't have the resources. So that's something we'll carry on to our mega base way in the future. There are two sort of opposing colours. The acacia wood is probably one of the most obvious here, which stands out on the outer edges and round the window frames. But I tell you what, the one thing I really liked is the use of the copper variants now. The copper grates and the copper trapdoors adds a really nice window effect. When I was making this video, I don't think you'll notice it, but the copper was aging and I didn't have any honey, so thanks Luna. Luna Cupcake, who also plays in the server as well, has some honey that was able to give us later in this video, probably in the next couple videos. You can see obviously we've built up all the four walls now, and the dome on the top, very similar to the other one, but this one was going to be a glass dome, the sort of cylindrical, going down to the middle of the build was the original idea, but we kept it just a dome on the top, opened it up with glass to let all the light into the build down below where the main library would be, and the actual shop front itself, where you can go meet our local resident who's not in there yet. I haven't had a chance to get Elowin, our shop proprietor, who's going to look after the shop in my absence. I've not managed to get him in yet. The floors is a continuation again from the starter base: birch, stone, andesite, mossy cobblestone as well. That's all kind of worked into the floor design. The roof, as I said, that was just a continuation of glass, so you can obviously see it in and be able to sort of see it from a distance too as like a peak. I did want to make it a bit bigger, but I felt it was a bit too opposing to the surrounding area, so we kept it kind of nice and short. Anyways, so as we kind of come up to the end of the video, this shop's going to be open, well, now, so people can actually come in, buy their schematics. So anyone on the server can kind of come by, put in their request of what they want the build to be in regards to theme, palette, location, if they want to integrate it into the ground, wherever they want, and they can put that request in via book, and I can start to make that happen. Anyways, I'm not too sure what the next video is going to be after this one. I couldn't honestly say. After this video, it's now going to be about a 6 or 7 week hiatus for me of no content. So we'll post some pictures and updates when we can. Maybe get on with some schematic late in the evenings, but I'm not too sure when the next video is going to be. The major base city that we're building, I don't know when that's going to start. Hopefully we'll get started on that probably over the next month or two. We'll need beacons, and I'll use the diamonds from this shop to then buy the materials to then hopefully lead on to making my mega base sometime in the future. But we'll try and do sort of smaller builds along the way, and we'll just see what happens. But thank you very much again for everyone for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this library build. They all will be available on Patreon within September, this one and the Outpost. So if you guys do want to download them or get your hands on the schematics, yeah, just join up to the Patreon. It'll be super cheap. I'll work it out and see where it goes. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys all in another video in the future.